Does this ring any bells?
I think it's several years old. Is that right?
I'm not sure. It was just recently.
Huh?
I just recently found it. Anyway, he says he links your book with Risa Miller's Welcome to Heavenly Heights and Ruhama King's Seven Blessings, and yours. And then he writes, their respective protagonists become religiously observant only after they spend considerable time in Israel. Moreover, and why am I not surprised, any narrative tensions they may have experienced before their respective returns simply disappear in the ritual and prayer that now surrounds them. There's not like an ounce of that in your book.
Like, can you translate that? that sounds like the kind of sentence I would have to read several times.
He says their respective protagonists become religiously observant only after they spend considerable time in Israel. And moreover, any narrative tensions they may have experienced before their returns to tradition simply disappear in the ritual and prayer that now surrounds them. I'm thinking that doesn't have a single thing to do with your book.
No, I can think of one story where that might be relevant, where there's an American visitor who gets swept up in sort of Zionistic and peacemaking passions in Israel. But other than that, no. I mean, this isn't about people finding themselves in Israel or finding religion in Israel. And on the contrary, I think that I'm really interested in the way that whether in Israel or elsewhere, in people become immersed in greater causes in ways that form sort of parallel paths to other stuff they're going through, the personal stuff, where I just see one as the expression of the other rather than a negation.
Yeah, there's certainly no idea of religion as a balm to personal struggle. in your book.
Naama King is an Orthodox writer, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, her book is like that, but Risa, is it pronounced Risa Miller or Risa Miller? And you are nothing like that. And I was just, I thought, what a ridiculous comment that he made. What have you found to be the most interesting responses that you've had to your book?
Well, I was overwhelmed by the response to the texture of the prose. I never expected people to dwell so much on I guess what in writing workshops is often called voice. You know, the way your writing sounds. I didn't spend a whole lot of time thinking about it. It just seemed like the natural thing that you write however way you write. And there are times where it actually got pretty hard to take, where what the stories were about was completely overlooked in favor of how I write and how the language sounds odd to some people. It was kind of a surprise. That was a surprise.
Did you have any mentors, any particularly influential teachers that led you on your path?
Well, my writing path, like most of my path, was pretty erratic. so I don't think I didn't stick around too many places to form, extremely long-term relationships with any mentors, but as any transient person will tell you, and you probably have that experience as someone who's bumped around some. It's not the duration, but the quality of relationships. So, while you call someone a mentor, kind of implies something for a longer run. But I definitely there have been influential teachers. I studied with Stanley Elkin when I was an undergraduate, and it was just one workshop. But just the force of his personality and his, cut the bullshit approach was very helpful. You know, I mean, I didn't extract any method. It was just more about don't lie, stop lying. You stop contorting those kind of comments. And I had a teacher. He's also an author at Washington University, Robert Earlywine, who I touch base with when I'm in St. Louis. And he was also extremely helpful, you know, and supportive, and pointed out elements of my writing that I didn't know necessarily were there. And every teacher, in their way, has been helpful, even when we've locked horns. But I mean, it's something that I actually regret. I think it probably is helpful for serious writers to really meet someone who can nurture their potential and you know, give them a hard time when they need it, and really, you know, work them through a good many phases to get them to be better writers. But
did you suffer much doubt that you had a book inside of you that deserved to be shared with the world?
Did I? Yeah, sure. I still do. I mean, looking back and looking forward, definitely, yeah.
How receptive was the world to your ambitions to be a writer? I mean, was there a primary tone that you encountered that, yes, you can do it, or isn't this interesting, or you're fooling yourself, or how receptive was the world to your writing ambitions?
Well, you encounter all sorts, you know. You'll you know, there's a lot of supportive voices there. And there are also dismissive ones. I mean, you get some of everything, but enough of the strong positive responses to make you feel that maybe there's something there. Maybe it's worth carrying on, keep trying. As far as my close family, there's always been nothing but support, even though you know, we might not always share the same opinions on every topic I address. So any negative response has really just been fairly fleeting contact without much repercussion.
How did family react to your book?
They were very proud. And I guess that says it. they were proud to have someone in the family who had written a book.
What was your undergraduate degree in?
English literature.
Oh, okay. Which period of your life was the happiest?
My life was. It's too soon to decide, don't you think?
I'm sorry?
It's too soon to decide.
No, I don't know. I don't know how old you are, but in your...
Well, it sounds like a deathbed question. Do you mean so far?
Yeah, so far.
So far. Oh, geez, I don't know. Yeah, everything. Every time has everything in it. I can't answer that.
Has there been a particular place in your life that you found, meaning a physical, geographic location, that you found most comforting?
That I found most comforting, did you say?
Yes.
A place that I found most comforting. Well, returning to visit Israel, which I haven't done that many times since leaving, which was that was a long time ago, 22 or so years ago. And I was here for about 10 years before returning for the first time. So it was a very, very strange experience going back to my formative grounds, where everything looked so. It was really dreamlike, you know. And I had been having for years. I've been having dreams of